So, welcome everybody. My name is Nick Kremp. I'm the conservation agent in Leominster. It is 6 p.m. on September 24th, 2024. I'm just going to remind everyone to please silence any devices you might have so we don't have any interruptions during the hearings. And I will start by taking a roll call of commissioners present. Nick Venti.
Yeah.
Jim Chambers.
Here.
Bob Seacard.
Yeah.
Mike Seeke.
Here.
Rich Gullick.
Here.
And Chuck Raymond.
Here.
And absent is Stephanie Quinlan, although we are expecting, she should be coming in later. But in any case, we have 6 of the 7, gives us a quorum, so we can proceed. And I'll hand it off to our chair, Chuck Raymond.
Thank you, Nicholas, and welcome everybody.
Yes,
Yeah, yes, he did. Yeah. So what we like to do is nobody's called me on it since we started doing this, but anybody here from the public who is not on the agenda but has anything they'd like to bring up, this is the time to do that. It looks like you're probably all here for an agenda item, so we will move past that then. All right, nothing under new hearings.
So before we read that,
Yep.
there is someone, oh, there she is, never mind.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
good timing.
Yes.
Under continued hearings, so I'll go ahead and read this one into the record. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent for construction of a berm, address 49 Eastern Ave, map and parcel 253-3, DP number 199-1201. Now, when it was Ellen, right?
Yep.
You have nothing else to present, right? This is just.
Nope, you guys are just gonna go check out the site.
Okay, yep, all right. So, I'll start then. I went and checked out, I was after you folks, I think there were two or three people that went, I went after it by myself.
Yeah.
Rang the doorbell, the homeowner didn't answer, which is fine. So I checked the area out. It's kind of what I figured it looked like based on your presentation and the materials you gave us. Before I get to my opinions, anybody else have any thoughts on the site walk or any questions you had for Ellen?
Well, I visited the site too, went into adjoining properties, the apartment complex and up the stream a little. And there's quite a dam up there.
Is there?
Debris. And then I noticed.
Debris, okay.
Yeah, I noticed the apartment complex has drains that drain right into that, where the water flows down and takes the corner into that property. There's another drain from the roads that drain into that too. Kind of looks like they should have had probably a retention basin of some sort, but it is what it is.
I think they were built in the 80s,
Yeah.
so it might have predated the Protection Act.
I took a picture down the pipe. The pipe looked pretty clear. There was some stuff in it. And it looked like a 12-inch pipe under the road. And you can see where disaster will strike easily, you know. So I observed, I tried to go downstream too to see if we could do something, or the city did something, would it impact somebody else? And it didn't look like it really. And that's what I see.
All right. And any other thoughts on Ellen's presentation or your inspection of the site?
Yeah, certainly. Having seen it, I fully support the idea of a berm. Personally, if I lived there, I would have put one in long ago, is my guess. Because you need it. But there's 2 sources of water coming into that spot, one being the street. And so how much of the water comes down the street right into the driveway versus how much is coming off of the creek, I couldn't tell. But either way, I would support the berm with no delay.
Okay.
And then would encourage the city to add this culvert to their list of culverts to get to.
It's on the list. It's
on
just
the
way
list.
down the list since we had the flood.
Yeah.
So we don't know what that means. That could mean 10
Right,
years, that could
okay.
mean
Yeah, but if
we're
it's,
looking for a Band-Aid.
if it's not, can be a Band-Aid, if it's not sized big enough at this point, you know, and with all the extra development, I think it's the city's responsibility to enlarge it at some point here. So. And they have it on the list. Yes, Ellen?
It actually comes in 3 different ways. One way you can't see, it actually comes from Main Street also. They connected to it, I think in year 2000 or 2005. So it actually, 3 different ways It goes to that one culvert.
I see,
Because
yeah, I
Main
see
Street
two
is higher.
pipes coming out of it, one going into it.
Mhm.
So one of them's gotta be the storm drain
On the other side of the street, you mean?
from up the street. On the downstream side,
Right,
there's two
right.
pipes.
Thanks, Steph. So welcome.
So does Main Street connect into that storm
It
drain
does.
that's coming down the side?
It does, they connected it years, probably 20 years ago to ease up, because Main Street is so much higher than Eastern Ave where she sits. So the water has to flow somewhere, and they connected it that way, so he's talking, I think you were talking about from the driveway.
From the driveway side.
Right, so the driveway,
From
then you
the
have the
side
condos in the
coming
back,
across.
and then you have Main Street,
But there's more adding
all the way that
into
you
it.
can't see, also connecting to it, so it really has a lot going to it.
All the more reason.
So yeah, just on that point, I just like
In a
to,
perfect world, we'd do a whole new culvert, obviously.
so on that point of where all the water is coming from, I just want to direct people's attention to the screen. So we have, this is the low area that we're talking about. This, I believe, might be some of that piping that Bob had observed coming off the condos. And then we also have this, well, this pipe isn't really in play because it outlets on the other side of the street, but water does get dumped into this drainage, which does feed off of north of Main Street, up Claflin Street.
Nick, the one that you just said didn't come into play will come into play if it
Yeah.
adds enough flow to block the flow coming from up above.
Correct.
Right,
And I
well,
think that's what Ellen was
Yeah.
pointing to.
well then,
That the downstream end of that pipe is full, well, gets full quicker and then it'll back up.
understood. So that, yeah, just to say that outlet's there, but we have 1, 2, and then just flowing off of the street directly 3 inputs into this little drainage area before it goes into the culvert.
All right.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Please.
The one thing that does concern me, something obviously has to be done, but I do believe where the two pipes converge is creating some of the backup going up the hill. And if there was a way that we could have that dug out a little bit so that the water could be relieved a little more, because you can see it's coming out on the angle and it's blowing up against that bank, which is probably prohibiting the runoff coming down the hill. So if you could create a little retention area down there with a backhoe, just to give it a little more room to move and swirl and get out of there, it might evacuate downstream faster.
That's it's a neighbor's property though, isn't it?
I don't know.
You mean
Is this
down,
from
you
the
mean down
condo?
here?
Down there,
talking
yeah.
about?
Is that
Is that from the condo area you're talking about, or from Main Street area?
where those two pipes converge?
The one coming down from Main Street.
On the-
Okay.
Yeah, on this side, on the bottom side of the road, you can see where it's eating out the bank there, and I think the water gets jammed in there when you've got a severe, pretty good sized
I just don't
storm.
know whose property that's on,
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be a whole other project.
Yeah, right. Any other thoughts or any other questions for Ellen while she's here? All right. So I'm out there, I think it was Friday, Thursday
So,
or Friday.
well, yeah, I got a quick question.
please.
I want to clarify. So the one that's coming down, is it from Main Street? That's not actually connecting into that culvert, that's discharging separate.
It's discharged at the same
That's
location.
the second
But it's at the
stop.
same location, so
It's
it
the
does
same
affect
location,
it.
but it's not going into that pipe. So that pipe does come out to free open air.
Right. There are
Unless it's all
two
connected.
separate pipes that discharge
Right.
down
Right.
gradient there.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
It's better than another pipe.
there is another pipe that goes into that stream, that's coming off of Main Street up
Yeah.
above, higher above, right there.
So that's what I'm saying, like, whether or not this is concerned with this pipe, we do have
Yeah.
probably from about here to,
This culvert goes really far.
yeah, all the way up past Sanderson Street a little bit, and then including Claflin and Sanderson Street. That's a large area that drains into this creek before flowing into the culvert.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir?
Wasn't here for the presentation, sounds like it was very informative. Could you just tell me where the berm is going?
Oh, where it's
Yes.
going on her property, yep.
So it'd be
Show you closer.
right here, let me see, this might be the clearer, that's a better one. So her driveway is located right here, and then it goes into a basement entrance on the side of the house. She's got a real low spot on the yard right here, and a drainage ditch in a low area that goes between the properties. So the berm would be on the western side of that ditch in what is existing lawn right now. It'd be about 2 to 3 feet higher than it is currently at its highest spot, is what we're permitting.
And would there be erosion control type, like rock or anything on the stream side?
Yeah, so there is, there's a stone wall existing right there. I could pull up photos, it would just take me a second, but
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to see in them.
yeah, it's hard to tell now, but there's an existing stone wall right along the edge of that ditch.
You can kind of see it.
So all the work would be on the western side of
Okay.
that.
Almost flagstone type
Yeah,
rocks.
Very good.
there would be erosion control at the base.
Steph, you all said, you have any questions? Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I have a question. So do we have a more permanent fix that we're looking for? Like, have we talked to DPW about, you know, having a real solution to this eventually?
Right, the real
Because the berm
solution
is
is,
temporary.
it's on the list of culverts to be replaced. But since we had the flood happen, other culverts moved up in priority.
Sure.
So this one got moved down greatly because of that, because it's the ones that caved in with things on top of them and everything else that have to be done first. I just can't give you a time period to where that will come up on the list. Because everything takes a lot of money, and this culvert goes really far. So it's not just a one-pipe solution for this one house that they would be fixing. They would be fixing it up to the bridge and going under because you can't put a big pipe and then a little pipe and then a big pipe. They would fix, in an ideal world, they fix the whole way through.
All the way down to the.
That would
last
be
one
the
before
ideal,
the
because
river.
there's a 12-inch pipe, which is not supposed to happen, it goes all the way down. So it just is impacting her because she's so low in the low spot of the street.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to get her through some time without this going against her house, like it's been doing.
So how high is it that you're asking for, that we're gonna permit for?
The berm is 2 to 3 feet high, all the way to the
Well,
tree
so
line.
up to 3 feet is what we're going to.
I thought you said when you were here before, in our minutes, you said up to 7 feet.
This is
He
what
was
I'm trying to
talking,
clarify.
but 7 feet, he was talking to the tree. So somehow he wants to bring it to the tree to the point of the lowest branch. But I think that was just a connector spot. I don't think the berm itself is gonna be 7 feet high. It was connecting it. However that makes sense.
Yeah, we can only
Because it
permit,
is, go ahead.
we can only permit it as it's presented in the
Yeah,
notice
and that
of
was 2 to
intent,
3 feet.
which is 2 to 3 feet
Yep,
high,
yep,
so,
yep.
yeah.
So it's up to 3 feet high, you don't
Yeah.
quite say 2 to
Yeah,
3.
so if we approve this, for example, and I went down and did an
Correct.
inspection later on, it's like taller than I am, then we're not gonna, that's not okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, up to 3 feet, thank you.
yes.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay. All right, anybody in the nobody from the public here with any questions, I assume? All right, so I'll entertain a motion then to close this portion of the hearing.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't here for the presentation.
Yeah.
but
So you
I
can
understand the situation, so can I vote?
If you weren't able to watch the video of the previous
Which was September 10th.
September 10th, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't on, I looked all over for
Yeah,
it.
you'll have to recuse yourself,
Understood.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Good question, then. So I'll entertain a motion then to close this portion of the hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Michael.
I'll take the commission's vote by roll. Nick Venti,
Nay.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Mike Seeke,
Aye.
Jim Chambers,
Recuse myself.
Steph Quinlan.
So this is just to close this portion of the hearing.
Oh, yeah, this is just
Oh,
like
this
close
is
to
close
one,
the
yeah,
hearing.
sorry. this
Yeah,
is-
but what are you saying nay for?
Sorry, yeah, we closed.
Let's try again. Try again.
So we're voting on the.
We had a motion and a second
Yes.
to close this portion of the hearing.
So Rich made the motion, Mike seconded, I'll take the commission's vote by roll for closing the public hearing. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Mike Seeke,
Aye.
Jim Chambers.
Aye.
You still would recuse, oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, you can vote to close.
Yeah, you can close the hearing. Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
Rich Gullick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
So that's
All
7-0.
right. With that done, then, I will entertain a motion to approve the project as described by both the applicant and as discussed here in the last meeting in this one.
Does Nick have anything to add?
Oh, yeah, yeah, thank you.
I have not much to add. it's, would seem to be an inadequate way to address this problem. However, with the location of it, its existing lawn, it's affecting this one house, but it's affecting her greatly, I would say, from what I've seen, so I would recommend that we approve it.
All right, thank you. All right, then.
Actually, sorry, I would recommend, I would not recommend approval nor denial. I just, you know, it can cut both ways. I don't think it's that large of an issue, but it's not the fix to this problem.
Okay,
So,
all right.
yeah.
Well, appreciate
It will
the-
not harm the environment.
It will not, no, I would.
So why
Yeah.
not let her do what she wants on her property?
Right, so,
I think
appreciate the
everybody
candor.
just wants the permanent fix, and I wish we could do that.
yes. Yeah.
Good, with all that said, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the project as described by the applicant and as we have discussed here in the last two meetings.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Michael. Sir, second.
I can second it, Chuck.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, I'll take the commission's vote by roll, and this is for approval of the order of conditions.
As described, correct, yeah.
Nick Venti,
Nay.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Mike Seeke,
Aye.
Jim Chambers,
Recuse.
Seth Quinlan,
Aye.
Rich Gullick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
No.
All right, so that's 4 ayes, 2 nays, and 1 recusal, and that is a quorum, so this is approved, and I will get you that permit this week.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank
Good
you.
luck. All right. So the next hearing, it's going to get continued, but I'll go ahead and read it into the record.
If we're not gonna address it tonight, I don't believe we
Because it was continued to tonight with the idea that we
or the meeting that we would have the number.
Right, I just don't think it's I don't think it's a bad idea just to state it again.
Yeah.
And
We
not
just-
open. Okay?
Correct. Open
I
it.
won't hold it up
Yeah,
anymore.
all right. So I'll read it the record anyway. So did you say that there's a DEP number?
Or we could just not open it, I mean.
I'd rather not.
There is a DEP number.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
There is.
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah.
So we could,
So that's part of the reason that, I could just briefly state here, that they were gonna come in, but we're not prepared to address all the points that were in the review from DEP, so that they've asked for a continuance, and they're not here tonight.
Okay. So yeah, I just been, I'd rather not open it.
So we'll continue until,
Yeah, okay.
until the next meeting, as we had said before, yeah.
Anybody have any questions about it? Oh, here. Okay. All right, moving on then. Under regular meeting, enforcement. 51 Howard Street Restoration Plan. There's somebody here to present on that. Come on up and present yourself.
You know, Steve Barabee, owner at 51 Howard Street.
Steve, over you.
Good, good. This is just the copy. I can go through. Pass that around. Whoops. There we go.
So I would, just point of order, I was not at the original hearing.
Okay.
So how much use I can be here tonight, I'm ready to be seen, but I doubt I'll get in the way.
Okay. Well, these are copies of the remediation plan that we came up with.
Yep. I must say, when I read this today, I thought you were actually going to be planting a 50-foot tall pine tree.
That's as tall as it gets.
But so Nick set me straight. So go ahead.
And we've been working with the landowner, and this is what we came up with. We're just looking to have it approved so we can
Okay,
get the work going.
okay. I don't have any questions. I wasn't at the original hearing anyway. Anybody have any questions or comments about the plan as shown? I must say, I do like your choice of plants.
Yeah, some of it, like, I think the sweet fern and the holly, they're good for the erosion control too.
I'm sorry, Jim, I was looking at the map. I apologize.
No problem. I did watch the video. I was not in attendance at the.
Yes,
Good,
this was
okay.
before.
And I did not, so go ahead. Jim?
No, I just wanted.
Oh, you just want to say that,
perfect.
okay. Rich?
Thank you.
I'd like to hear from the neighbors
Yeah.
as to what you think of this and whether you approve it and support this.
Oh, yeah, but unequivocally, we had a nice site visit, Nick was there, and Nick Venti was there, and Mike and I were there, and talked to powers that be at the land trust, and everybody is on board with this. Appreciate
Okay,
it,
can you
Steve.
guys, just for the record,
Oh, certainly, I'm Jim, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Jim Moriarty, I'm the legal counsel for the Leominster Land Trust.
And I'm Mike Mahan. I'm the acting executive director of the Land Trust.
so you both approve this as is?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I just have a quick question for you, Art. In looking at this, it seemed, 12 plants plus a pine tree. You seem to think that'll suffice, fill in the area fairly well? Eventually?
This isn't my bailiwick, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But we were with Nick, and, you know, I defer to Nick, and that,
Okay.
as a layman, I thought it would look satisfactory, and I had a conversation with Nick and Mike, and, you know, we're fine based on all that.
Okay.
When you're saying Nick, you said Nick Venti was there.
I'm sorry, I meant,
You
yeah,
meant Nick Krem.
yeah, I meant Nick Krimp, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, question for Nick Crump. So you think that these 12 plants will, when mature, will fill in the area pretty well?
I think it suffices for this,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
They got stuff at the herbaceous shrub and canopy layer
Right.
eventually, you know, so
Okay,
I think it's good.
all right.
Natural.
Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, I did note in my review of the video that you had used it for that area for parking of vehicles. Was there any liquids from the vehicles, or antifreeze, oils?
No, no. There was never any work done on anything back there. Just storage.
Things that park tend to leak as well. Just wondering if you noticed any
Nothing,
oil sheen or anything?
No.
nothing so blatant as I noticed it when we were walking around up there. And by the time we had walked out there, he had all the vehicles removed, so it was wide open, and I didn't note anything. I don't know if Mike or Jim had noted anything.
Right.
It's a very well-kept facility. I tend to.
Yeah, I noticed it was very clean. For the overhead, it was clean. I
Yeah.
just, you know.
No, good.
Thank you.
Good question.
And just to go back, if I can, talk about the density of the plantings. It's not in a great big open field. I mean, the area kind of backs up to other woods.
Yes.
So it won't, the plants will have a chance.
Okay.
If there were too many, it would be a mess.
Oh, good, appreciate that, thank you.
And there was extra fill that's there and that's being left?
Yeah, that's gonna all be removed. It states right here that,
That's all part of it.
please fill, removed, and disposed of off-site.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I did have a question. So with that shaded area right here, the area represents a 1 to 3 slope downward. Is that mean like for the rest of this area that that's what's being removed? The fill that's
No,
from here?
That's stating that's where it starts, where the 1 to 3 slope will start, and then it's gonna slope down from there all the way out to the area there, to the original.
So, but that slope, because this is all more or less flat and continuous with this right now.
Correct.
So that's what I'm saying, you're removing from here and
Yeah, we're gonna
sloping
probably
down
leave
in
like
this
about,
area.
about 3 feet right there, so it doesn't collapse on me.
Uh-huh.
And then we're gonna, from there, we're gonna start a 1 to 3 foot, a 1 to 3 slope going, starting from there all the way back to the original,
I see, okay.
topography.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so, this is partly my ignorance, is not being my discipline, but I thought that the slope is gonna go to the end of the green outlay, is that where it's going?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean,
It's
that's
just
what I
that line there
assumed.
shows kind of where it's gonna start,
Yeah,
and then it's gonna graduate all the way down the green outlay.
yeah, I assumed that, but I
Yep.
guess I should have
Yep.
done more.
So you're leaving that portion at the same gradient as your parking lot?
Yeah, it'll be slightly, yeah, about the same, but I'm still gonna plant grass and all that right there.
Okay.
So there won't be any runoff from your parking lot?
Correct.
Understood.
Bob?
Yeah, I do remember the last meeting, and we talked, or I talked about, or some couple of people talked about defining the area a little better so it's not encroached upon anymore. Was any thought, I'm not trying to add more money to this, but was there any thought of adding a fence of some sort?
We spoke about that as well. I mean, for now, we talked about just putting like some posts there for now,
Okay,
and I'll put some blocks along, and probably next year I could put a fence up.
just to
Yeah.
delineate the boundary.
Oh, absolutely, I
so
definitely intend to.
Nobody
Absolutely.
encroaches on it again.
Yep,
I would like that to be optional, and
okay,
that I think this is enough
okay.
learning lesson for you as far as where to stop going.
Yeah,
Maybe the next owner would need to know, but
right.
I think you got it.
So just to illustrate
Well, there's
something.
no public access
No,
to there, so I mean, if people are entering through his property, they're trespassing to get it.
Anyway, yeah.
Correct.
He'd be the one to cross over.
Understand,
Right.
understand.
He may border his property anyways.
In the beginning, I think the confusion is, I don't know where my property ends and.
yeah, yeah, that's what it was. I
Well, I
I didn't
understand
think I
that
was
issue,
over
but
it.
now the idea of putting a fence up, unless Steve needs it for security, I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
think I think it's optional.
I think we even talked about adding a conservation sign, you know.
Land trust.
I mean, it could happen anywhere on the border around that anywhere.
I think that's what their lesson from this.
Yeah.
He knows the boundary, they know to put up a sign.
So just something on that point really quick, and I would strongly suggest putting up a fence or something just to delineate that, but I'll leave that up to the commission.
I mean, when I put the fence up around the front and the side,
Yeah.
and on the other side, I had planned to eventually fence it in anyways.
Right.
So now I know
So-
where I have to put the fence.
But just to kind of illustrate this to people, so this photo, the satellite imagery was taken after I had gotten in touch with Steve and he had moved this building. This building used to be on the Leominster Land Trust property, and he happened to have moved it almost directly in line with the property line as it's shown on the GIS map. So he's got a pretty good approximate property marker there in
Right.
any case, so, but I would still recommend the fencing.
I'm good.
Just as a suggestion, I
Yeah,
don't think we need
appreciate
to
it.
wait and put that in the restoration plan.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I've got a concern.
Please, go.
What's the plan to manage invasives here, that other vegetation doesn't come in here and swamp out, crowd out these plantings? Because often, you know, in a situation like this, you have open land, knotweed, Japanese knotweed, Oriole bittersweet will
Yeah.
come in and sort of choke out everything.
Yeah,
Is there- is there a
I'll
plan
be
for-
watering it and keeping an eye on it until it all
Yeah.
grows in, for sure.
Keep out Other stuff, or
Yeah.
make sure it doesn't get overgrown with other stuff. Okay.
And actually, the guy that has, where that thing is, he's a landscaper, I'm gonna have him take care of it for me.
Okay, okay.
There you go.
I mean, I guess the question to the land trust is, do you want someone else managing?
No, I keep an eye on that for sure, and I'll touch base with them if I have any issues.
I think that's appropriate, being that it's
Yeah.
Steve's violation, so it's his responsibility to make it right, so it would just make sense, and he's out there every day, so it makes sense that he would be the one monitoring.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
personally, the land trust, I don't have any confidence in Steve, I don't have any problem going out there next spring or something, hey, Steve,
Yeah,
throw a little
come on
water
by.
on this, this little
Yeah.
parch or
Yeah.
something. If
Yeah.
that was a situation to develop, not that I'm saying it's going to,
Right, no,
but,
right.
yeah.
you know, so.
All righty. What, do we need to take a vote to approve a plan? What do we need to do here?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, all righty. So I wasn't at the original hearing, so I will recuse myself, but Jim, you said you watched the, okay. All right, as to there was no NOI here, do we have to close a public hearing?
No,
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
there's a notice of intent.
not for
Oh,
51.
I looked at the wrong one.
No.
My bad, I looked at the wrong one. Yeah,
This
it's
is just,
unfortunate.
yeah, this is all stemming from a violation
Right,
notice. so,
okay, all right then.
Just to hear a motion for an
Okay.
approval.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion then to approve the what we call planting remediation plan for 51 Howard Street. I might also add that in terms of the fence, how about wording along the lines of, you'll continue with your existing fencing plan?
Yeah,
Would that work for you?
yep,
That work for the commission?
No, I'll vote no with that.
We don't need to require it in the, I don't think
But
we need to
continuing
require
it
it in
is
the
a
plan,
requirement.
exactly, yeah.
Okay,
oh,
We
really?
don't require a fence there, it's not needed to protect the wetland. I don't believe, we know where the property boundary is now. So I appreciate Jim's thinking.
Someone could reasonably make an argument, though, that it'd be an additional hindrance to make sure that the area isn't ever interfered with in the future. I mean, someone could make that argument.
They could, wouldn't.
I know, I'm just-
Wouldn't convince me.
I'm just talking about the spirit, I'm just,
I would put that up to the land trust to put up a fence, and if they want to prevent people from accessing their
Yeah.
property.
That's a good point.
I didn't say I wanted, or I wouldn't say we're
Yeah, that's
required
not-
it at all. I was just making a point to you, because you were gonna.
All right, so it sounds like a fencing plan is a little too onerous of an addition to this. Okay, so then I'll entertain a motion then to approve the planting remediation plan as described for 51 Howard Street.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Jim. There's a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Nick.
All right, I'll take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Bob Seacard.
Aye.
Mike Seeky.
Aye.
Jim Chambers.
Aye.
Seth Quinlan.
Aye.
Rich Gullick.
Aye.
And Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right, 7-0, and that is accepted.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, everyone.
So what we had here was our
There's
little...
keys under the chair.
Those are probably mine. Thank you for pointing out.
You weren't going anywhere.
We were gonna all the way down
I
and
would,
come all the way back
it's
up.
like church, I didn't wait you when you got to your car.
Thanks for everything.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Keys on that was the one before.
Oh, shit. I need to recuse myself. All right.
Yeah, he wasn't here, so it's a 6-0 vote with one
Yeah,
recusal.
yeah, all right. So what we had, that was our version of Operation Market Garden, World War II. We're history nerd. Apparently the fence was a bridge too far. It was the Arnhem Bridge, and we, oh well. Anyway,
That's all right.
sorry if I bored
It
you
was
with
approved and.
history nerd shit.
Either one.
All right, moving on then. Beaver Solutions, conservation agent requesting funds for beaver flow device installation on Lincoln Street.
Yes.
What do you got first, Nicholas?
Yeah, where are these beavers?
Okay, yeah, this is your neighborhood.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Drove by yet. Wanted to-
Oh, did you? Did you see my
wanted
Halloween
to come-
decorations?
No, but wanted to come say
What?
hello.
When did you drive by that?
Oh, we were just.
Thursday?
We were just in the neighborhood visiting.
All right,
And came down.
so this is Lincoln, you're down here, Steph.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the low point in the road,
Yeah.
makes sense. So, we'll zoom out real quick.
Thousands of
You just look
Yeah,
at
so this
Making me dizzy.
Yeah,
Nick.
sorry guys, so real quick, just taking a macro view of the area, so this is a big wetland system that is bordered by North Street here, some of the neighborhoods coming off of Main Street, Wildflower Road runs around this way, and then Lincoln Street to the east. So all of this accepts water from pretty much all around here. All these green circles are outfalls. So you can see there's a bunch of water that lets out here and collects down in here. And then that eventually forms into a stream which flows under Lincoln Street and goes to this pond and then continues on to Massapog Pond in the south. So the area we're concerned with here is, this is 254 Lincoln Street. I myself have had people, the residents of this property reach out to me several times. They've spoken with other city officials from back before I was in this position. And they've complained about beavers damming this area back in here and causing flooding to their yard. They've spoken with other neighbors off of Wildflower that complained of the same thing with the water level. And moreover, the city has a sewer line that's outlined in this thicker orange with the circles. These circles are manhole covers. So the city has a sewer line that they maintain that runs from the Main Street direction towards, and then easterly direction towards Lincoln before hooking up with all this. So this runs through this whole low wetland area as well.
Is that storm sewer?
The orange is sewer, is a sewer. The green is
Sanitary,
stormwater.
Wastewater, sanitary.
Yeah, sanitary. The green lines are stormwater pipes. So the orange with these like crazy circles are sewer lines. So this manhole and some of these other manholes occasionally do experience some flooding from some of this beaver activity, which is why I guess the city is now getting involved. So I've always advised the residents here, the dam is more or less in this area, so it is on their private property. So I've always advised them, you know, this is a private property issue. If you want to pay to have the beavers removed, you're free to do that. They're not a protected species. As long as you know, you're getting a licensed trapper, you can do whatever you want with beavers. So that's how I've always advised them. DPW got in touch with me last week to discuss this situation and further advise them from my perspective. I said, you know, if the city's getting involved with this and considering paying for trapping, I would much rather us put our money towards something that's gonna be more of a permanent solution, so that's where these flow devices come in. So I got in touch with a company called Beaver Solutions. They're based out of Southampton, are they? Yeah. So I spoke with them a little bit. One of their people came out it was like $175 site assessment. I figure that's fine to just pay for out of our budget. It's less than that several $100s that I've talked to you about before. So they came out for a site assessment. Mike and Rich just happened to be available for other site visits right around this time, so they were both on the site walk. Councilman Bob Tossi was on the site walk, and the code enforcement officer Luke Bovalak was also there. He's formerly on DPW, so he advised on the DPW side. So after that site walk, we basically came to this state. So I've included this in the drive, and if you guys want a few minutes to read over that in the drive on your phones, you're more than welcome to. But basically, John from Beaver Solutions came out. He put on his waders and walked around out there. He did confirm that there's a large beaver dam right here, that a pond leveler, which is one of these flow devices, would work in this situation to keep the water level right about where it is to a little bit lower. He said one of the complicating things with this is that they've started to build a smaller secondary dam further down. So the way he explained it is when they do that, sometimes the pond levelers usually work, but if they put the pond leveler in and the beavers aren't able to raise that level of water, if it's dramatic enough, they will move either up or downstream and build another dam. And they sometimes get into situations where they have to chase the beavers downstream
Industrious.
from dam to dam. Yes. So they've estimated that the cost for a pond leveler would be just under $2,000. They have an optional maintenance plan, which the DPW has agreed to take on maintenance activities for this. It's pretty simple. It's just a quick, like an hour, if that, inspection each year to just walk out, make sure the piping is good and the caging isn't damaged. So we can waive that. That's an optional fee. They can deduct another $400 or so if DPW is able to supply them with some of the piping that they need. So all in all, if DPW is able to supply that piping, the cost would be $1,510, so minus that $440. And they estimate that even if the pond leveler pushes them further downstream, it would be about a year or two before they're able to determine that, at which time we can revisit it and either choose to not put in another leveler or just put in another leveler, and then at that point that should be the fix. So we may need another one. This one, according to John Egan from Beaver Solutions, this should be adequate for now, but in the event that they do move further downstream and continue on with that other dam, we could put a secondary pond leveler in, and then that should address the problem. It's either that or the city pays for trapping, which is a few $1,000s and is only good for a year or two before more beavers inevitably move in there, and it's a very attractive area for a beaver with all this large area and this relatively small space that they need to do.
Trees close to the water.
Yeah, lots of trees.
So this $1,500 would be billed to the city of Leominster?
So so thank you for bringing that up. So in my discussions with DPW, they said that they're willing to try this, but they just asked that conservation pay for the installation of the leveler, just because they didn't say this exactly, but I suspect because it's kind of an experimental thing. This isn't something that the city has paid for before.
It's not experimental in terms of its use elsewhere.
In terms of the city, I think the city, it's just something new for the city.
If
So.
you go on Route 2 by Fort Devens, you can can see right below the hill, they have a pipe, the Fish and Wildlife Service stuck out.
That's not a strong reason to move money from one budget into another, in my opinion.
Well, basically the deal is they're asking for us to pay for the install and they will take care of the maintenance.
Thank you, please.
So I asked you to check into who paid for the last time this was done, when beavers were removed. It was a year ago, April. When Mark Permiani contacted.
It was for up Rock Pond,
Chuck
was
and
it?
I. It was for the mobile home.
Yes, no, I have not done that.
Okay. In that case, I would ask to delay this. I am very opposed to this concept in that not the leveling and working with the beavers, but the idea that this commission is going to start using its, I believe, very meager budget of how much each year?
About 14,000.
14,000. And it'd be nice to know exactly what that normally goes for. But why would we be paying for an improvement on a private property, a private person's project? We're going to do the next person that has a flooding? Where do we stop on that? So I don't think it's the right thing for us to do, and I think DPW needs to take that on. That's under their purview, not ours, to work on that drainage, if it's not just the private owners. But I would approve the private owner doing it,
Yeah.
as we did when, there was, let me mention this to folks.
So just while you're looking for that,
Yep.
either way, whatever happens, something like this would need a notice of intent. So whatever the case is, whoever ends up, if someone were to do this, we would end up permitting it one way or another, so.
Jim, do you have something?
Yes, I just wonder, will the existing dams be demolished?
I think so.
No, so they basically put a pipe through, they have a diagram here I can pull up.
Here.
Put
I
pipe
got it.
through the dam, so they try to fake them out.
Yeah, I've seen it, I just,
Rich.
yeah, I was thinking, all right, take the bigger one, but take the small one out, so they didn't have that to consider once they realize they're not getting
Yeah, so
stoppage up that end.
they may go ahead and demolish that for us if they're out there doing all this, but, you know, I can't say for sure whether or not Beaver Solutions would do that for us. I think they would if we just asked them to just while they're out there working out there. But there's no guarantee that the beavers wouldn't just rebuild that secondary dam, so. I leave that up to them to best, you know, do this,
Bob?
yeah.
Just trying to make me forget. Do the landowners need a notice of intent if they want to trap and remove, relocate?
My understanding is no.
Okay. So I don't know why the private owner's not paying for this. I'm kind of with Rich, right?
So on April 18th, 2023, Chuck and I received an email from Mark Piermarini.
Yes.
I always struggle with that. It says, Mr. Pat Connolly and Connolly Wildlife Management is going to be taking care of a beaver dam causing flooding issues at Meadowbrook Acres on Central Street.
Yeah.
Want to run it by the Conservation Commission, here's his number.
Yeah.
I think Chuck was busy that day. I called, talked to the Beaver Pro, went out, took a look at the site. I saw where it was flooding. I have friends who lived there where it was flooding. Water was on the streets. This is something they regularly do. We did not pay for it. There was no money came out of our budget. I believe that was probably DPW, that I wasn't for sure, and it was gonna look into that. To let us know, so.
And I apologize for that lapse in memory, but I will be asking Mark if we end up continuing this. Either way, I'll get back to you with that, but.
If I may?
Yes.
Please.
Personally, I think that this is an experiment in concept to see if this type of solution would work for us. And I have no objection at all for us to fund a first one. I do agree with you, down the line, our job is not to eradicate beaver throughout the city, but to put together a humane concept and prove it works or doesn't work, I think is in line with what we do.
The concept in principle is proven already. Whether it would work in this specific location would be a question for any site. But it is a well-known technology.
Jim, you see your hand
lost the thought.
That's okay. No,
I just have.
I am fully in favor of the use of this technology. Much prefer it over you getting a Conabear trap in there and snapping the damn thing in half.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That said, though, I do agree with Rich, I don't see this as an appropriate expenditure for the commission. Because it's on private property, and I'm sure they are fully capable of doing something like this on their own. Jim?
My question, well, as a concept, do we have any place that we might implement this on conservation land already? Are beavers negatively affecting any of the water flow on?
No, I
land
mean,
on
I've
the
seen
old-
beaver in other areas of the city, but nowhere that's causing a nuisance as far as I've heard.
That I might consider legitimate expense if it's on
Well, that's what
lands
I'm
that we are
trying to
responsible for.
Find a place to
Put-
test
leave
out
that
the
for
technology,
people.
but for our benefit.
So on that point, the dam itself and that secondary dam, I believe the secondary dam might be a little bit different, but that primary dam that I talked about is roughly in this location, so it is on that private property. However, the city does own this small parcel that the stream flows through right after that, and they own this large parcel and all these larger parcels, or no, not that one, but we own this parcel at least immediately before the water flows in there. So we own both sides of it, just not exactly where the dam is. And there's also another public concern here in that the sewer line does flow through here and is affected. And it affects multiple neighbors, so that complicates things and if it's gonna be
I
addressed.
suggest then that the water and sewer department pay for this.
DPW, and perhaps we can
That's not the
advocate
DPW.
for it, support it,
Mhm.
approve the concept in principle at
You
least.
pay a separate tax for
But,
water
you know,
and sewer.
let's face it, I think the DPW has probably got a lot to do, and probably isn't gonna happen, even as far as providing the pipe, if they had to install the pipe or the maintenance, I would think in the next 24 months, they're going to have their hands full of doing that, and this will just be neglected. So we have a chance to do something and to add value to that situation. I think we should take the bull by the horns and move ahead.
Nick?
Can I ask for this to be contextualized in terms of our budget, so it's some 10% of our budget effectively?
Yes, so I apologize for not having exact up-to-date budget numbers right now. I recently got a new computer, so my automatic login isn't like working for the budget website. However, our annual budget is $14,400 every year, and that's meant to pay for office supplies, conferences, contracting services, like we had done with Harwood Terrace last year. My gas mileage, because I drive my own car around town, and whatever else, books, education, whatever else we need to spend money on as a board. So there's an argument that this could go under contracting services. I understand your point that it's on private property.
The private property isn't the biggest part of it, I think it's a DPW responsibility. The Harwich Lane one, I think we
That was
took on-
indirect, yeah,
Well, because we had approved a notice of intent, and it caused a problem.
right.
So that was on our shoulders.
Right. The one last thing I will say about this is, although this doesn't address the reasoning behind who pays for this or not, just to speak to our ability, the difference between what we're allotted every year and what we spend is greater than the cost of this. So in a normal year, at least in the last 2 years that I've been here, we come in pretty under budget.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. What percentage of our budget do we spend, and what happens to the remainder if we do not spend?
I believe it goes into the general fund. I might be
And
misspeaking.
the next year, let's say we get a budget of $14,000 and we spend 10. So we
It's
got
14 the
4.
next year.
It's still 14 next year,
Yeah.
okay.
It's not like carried over.
Hopefully, eventually, they catch up and cut it down, and that's good.
Yes, Mike?
Is there a concept where we could go to the landowners and say, hey, we'll do a third, you do 2/3, there's two or three homeowners that are in there, it's gonna positively affect them. I know it complicates things, but if it's If it's a dead no, I think that would be better than nothing.
That's-
Because the cost of trapping is gonna be just as expensive as this, and it's just gonna go on and on and on.
Right.
And it's cruel.
So,
All right.
I think that, you know, that might complicate things beyond,
Which one would do?
yeah, but that's an option.
I think it's silly. I think it's a little silly to build a house, like right on top of wetlands, and then be mad that there's beavers there.
Thank you.
But we own the space behind it and in front of it. It's causing a lot of issues for a lot of people, right?
Okay.
We have the means, we have the will, you know. I mean, I'm gonna vote yes,
Okay.
if it comes down to that.
Any other thoughts, opinions, questions, concerns?
How about the manholes? How high is, have you been out to this, Nick?
They're below.
I've been to this
They're
one.
below, at a level, in some cases.
I've been to this one directly, it's right off their backyard here.
So we in
Well, we
danger?
saw the.
Maybe they should be building up, the,
Yeah, they need to put risers on them.
you know,
Yeah.
That's a
I,
deep.
Yeah, there was
I agree with what Mike said though before, that they're pretty inundated. They got a long list of things they gotta get to. I agree, this should be on the list, but
It's not going to be.
Why don't we could all pay for that other culvert too, but we won't.
And
Yeah, but
that would be.
everybody's
like a-
budget is
Or the
squeezed.
berm.
We don't have much of a budget. Did we get our copier contract though?
What?
Let's, that has nothing to do with this hearing. There's nothing to do with this, I don't wanna get on that.
But
rabbit
what I'm
hole.
saying is,
That's
everybody's
resolved.
budget is squeezed, but whose responsibility is this?
The
That's what-
property owner, if it's on theirs, right now.
That's what I've always understood it to be, but if
No.
DPW is interested in paying for trapping, I would just rather the city spend their money on this.
I go along with that, but no one would have legal right to do anything other than the homeowner, I believe.
You're not getting rid of the
It's
beaver.
their property.
Beaver's still gonna be there.
Oh, yeah.
And probably multiplying, you know.
Well, the city can have an agreement with them and set up an easement for maintenance and things like that, like we do with other utilities.
Don't they catch and relocate? They don't just
No, they kill them.
yeah.
kill them?
Yeah, there's no.
That's why I
No
said.
relocation.
You can't relocate them because then it's someone else's problem.
Yeah.
We tried to
Yeah,
send them
imagine
over- we
being
tried to send them over
at the
Lunenburg
place where
every
they
time.
Do you-
relocate.
do you know what a counter bear trap is? It's a
No.
big, huge, spring-loaded thing, and when the beaver trips it, it snaps closed, and snaps the beaver in half right at the neck-ish,
Or drowns them.
or drowns
Drowns.
it.
Yeah.
That's legal? I didn't think we could do that anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like how we treat rats, it's like.
in
it's a
my
pest.
experience, and
Yeah.
my
Yeah, I
DPW
guess.
experience, we hired
That's why I don't like to talk
We
about
hired
it.
shooters.
We're not trapping them, we're killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this over that.
Huh?
All right, so I think we. Nick,
One more
your
question,
question?
Is there,
Ruin the budget.
was the property owner,
The press.
under this
Gets-
proposal, was the property owner
I
prepared to
agree
bear
with
any
you,
expense of
my
the, either the payment,
irritation.
or the installation and maintenance
So
of this device?
I've advised them before that it's a private property, as I've understood it, it was a private property issue, and I've told them how to get in touch with trappers, and I believe I might have sent them Beaver Solutions before, and now they continue to get in touch with the city and ask for help, so.
Won't you need an easement?
I believe so, yes, but that's, down the line. Just if we're willing to spend our money on this, then that gives me the ability to move forward and talk to DPW and say, what's the best way to set this up for maintenance, and then we can start moving forward with Beaver Solutions and getting it would probably be DPW would be applying, someone through the city would be applying, I don't think we can apply to ourselves. But we'll need a notice of intent for this, so.
We have a conflict of interest when.
Yeah.
All right, so unless you get something new, I'd like to start moving this along.
Yeah, just one more question. They're asking only for the DPW to supply the pipe, Beaver Solutions would install it.
Yes.
Correct, they wouldn't be.
And the cages and everything else involved.
No, I was just
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
the pipe.
They're just asking for, like 40 feet of 12-inch pipe or something like that.
And if I may, one more,
Yeah.
to put the maintenance in the first year on the DPW, I think it just won't happen, and that could result in it being an unsuccessful, for $400, I think. They've got so much to do for $400, have them come down and clean it for the first year.
And it would only be $100 because they're offering this partial discount of 3, so.
Lori,
$100.
guaranteed.
I was somewhat intrigued, or at least would listen to Mike's idea of cost sharing. I'm still opposed to paying fully for it. I really don't like the principle. How do we tell the next resident that we're not gonna do their project?
That's a very good.
That really sticks me.
All right.
Yeah, just real quickly, I'm of the opinion that there's enough public interest involved here that it wouldn't be as simple as like someone with private property has a beaver issue and they want us to pay for it. I think if there's other things involved with this, like a sewer line and multiple other residences, then it would be different, but I think this is a standalone kind of case.
I totally agree with that. And I think sort of in opposition of Rick's point, like how many people are coming to us and asking us to help with the beaver problem?
That's
Like
right.
how many,
Yeah.
even if we had 2 people a year, every year that came in, sounds like the budget can support that.
The budget can support it, I'm not denying that. It's whether it should, not whether it can.
Right.
Go on.
We're serving the community. This is a way that we can do that.
Okay.
And it doesn't
Fair enough.
hurt, you
Yeah.
know, like there, sure, if it was like 50 people a year, right? If beavers were taking over the city, then it's like, we can't fix that problem. But this seems like something
So,
that, yeah, that maybe we can help.
and just so,
I don't think you're fixing the problem, though.
Well, trapping isn't
fixing the problem would be
either.
like
The problem is that
eliminating all the
The problem is gonna
beavers.
be ongoing.
Trapping takes care of the problem.
No, it doesn't.
Temporary.
for 2 years or
Yeah.
so until beavers.
He didn't seem that optimistic, what I heard there.
Yeah.
Well, they got
That it
beaver
was gonna work,
solutions.
Yeah.
So, and just so,
Maybe Mike had a different impression. He thought there's
No,
a
he-
chance
he-
it'll work, but
They were.
there was an
absolutely-
there's a lot of
uncertainty.
codicils to it.
Yeah. So, one last point to this, I don't think this would be recommended necessarily in this case. Sometimes Beaver Solutions does recommend, trapping of the current beavers because they have, they're acquainted with the area, they understand the pond level, and if it drops a significant amount, then sometimes the beavers need to be removed anyway. He did not recommend that in this case strictly, so, but I'm just saying that may change, but just, that's another point, that was, just to be fair, I didn't wanna
Yeah, that's
throw that out there.
The idea there is their memory would be, the institutional memory would be gone.
Well, that's
What
why I was
the
asking whether
should
the
be.
the current dams would be removed or not, because if the beavers are still there.
You need beavers and all.
They're just gonna continue. I mean, you need to eliminate those and get the beavers out of there, even if you put the pond in, because you're, the piping in, because that's for the future beavers. You're not gonna do much for the current beavers. They're just gonna speak.
So sometimes that is, sometimes they do recommend that, but based on his site assessment at the time, it was, I can't quote him exactly, it was something with the existing pond levels and how much they need to bring it down, that's not gonna need to be the case in this case. But that could change later on if the pond leveler goes in and it's not working, but they pride themselves in their reputation a lot, they have a lot of guarantees, so, you know, I take it for what it's worth, but I believe him when he says, you know, I think it's worth trying. They could move further downstream, that's a possibility, but he was very open about that. That's something that we can deal with 2 years down the road.
But if
that's the
they
case.
did move downstream, it doesn't mean that the perimeter would flood. It
That's
could-
true, yeah.
It could be the concentration of water could move downstream with them.
Right.
All right, well, I think we've kind of covered this every which way but loose. I'd like to move. Oh,
Yeah, I just, well, sorry, just to put a bow on it, like this, so all I'm asking is I'm just trying to present the whole case of what's going on. I'm just asking if it would be all right with you for us to spend our budget on this, and then, like I said, notice of intents, other things have to come after this before anything actually happens on the ground,
So what do you need me to do here then?
Just, I just want a majority approval or denial of this is okay, or we don't wanna have any.
Yeah, that's, that's what I was gonna ask for.
So that's it.
Sir?
Are we just approving the concept?
Just that we would, if you're willing for us to spend
But, I mean,
this
is
amount of money.
is the expenditure of funds gonna be coming before or after the NOI?
It would come after the NOI because we'd be paying them once we have all the permissions and everything. We're
Yes.
paying for the installation and the materials.
In other words, if we disapprove the NOI,
Then we don't
do
need
we
to
have
spend
any money?
No.
Okay.
All I've spent so far is the 175 for the site
I
assessment.
agree with you looking into it.
All right,
Yeah.
so moving on, so I will entertain a motion to approve you want me to approve the expenditure for this project, is that what you want me to do?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion then
$2,000.
to approve the expenditure of how much?
$2,000.
$2,000 in support of the project regarding the beaver flow device at the property as discussed.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mike, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steph.
Take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
No.
Mike Seeking,
Aye.
Jim Chambers.
Aye.
You didn't say that with confidence, you said it now, so.
Steph Quinlan, Rich Gullick,
No.
and Chuck Raymond.
No.
All right, so that's 5 ayes and 2 nays. So I
There
will.
was 4 and 3.
No,
Four and
sir.
three.
Was it 4 and 3?
4 and 3.
Modern math is just barely
It was-
It's tough at this
Who was the
time.
other, no, it was Nick, right?
What happened to?
No, I was-
election voting
I was an aye.
integrity?
You voted- it was
I no.
Okay, so
aye.
it was Bob, me
Oh,
and
it's,
Rich.
yes, that's it.
Bob, me and Rich.
Okay, excuse me.
Okay.
So the official vote is 4 to 3, so I will move forward with getting in touch with them.
And the next step will be an NOI.
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be the next step we would hear about this.
Could I ask for one more thing? I think I would like to have you ask Beaver Solutions to come back in a year
Hmm.
and inspect the dam and see if it is successful or not and present to us.
Oh, we can make that request during the NOI process, right?
Okay. that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Oh, we or you or whoever, yeah.
So are you able to contract directly with them, or do you have to follow the, this has competition rules?
So the city would have to apply if we're the entity that's, paying for all this. We can pay for it out of our budget, but another, probably DPW or the sewer department, someone would have to present as the applicant applying for this.
But you're talking about.
Just representing the
Is it gonna be
city.
competitive?
Bid, I mean, you have to spec out the,
Not necessarily, depending on the cost.
Yeah, if it's under a certain amount, I don't think you have to.
Yeah, it's under 10,000.
I know with federal accounts, you don't have to, if it's under a certain amount.
Yeah, it's 10,000.
Okay, all right.
Nick, please confirm, and this may be a little too detailed, but now that we have approved the funding for a project, that we're not in conflict of interest in approving the NOI.
I have talked briefly to my contact at Mass DEP about this, and she didn't raise any concerns about that. So other municipalities have done this, but I can get in touch about that specifically, make sure we're not crossing any lines.
And please come at the next meeting, please answer the question regarding who paid for the last time this commission was approached about beaver control,
Gotcha.
so that we have it on the record. Was that DPW?
And that was April of 2023?
Yeah, I gave you a
Yeah.
copy of the email, April.
Yes, you did, okay, I got it. All right.
All right, moving on. Under outreach, Nature Walk in Prospect Park on September 26th at 4 PM. Coming up.
Next Conservation Nature Walk is this Thursday at 4 PM, Prospect Park. Talking about forests through time.
Let me look at my schedule. I really want to go to
Forests through
Thursday
time,
Street.
how forests change over time and how we can
Thursday at
kind of see some of
4.
that in the species presence
Thursday?
and
That's
whatnot.
this Tuesday.
Oh, interesting.
It'll be an interesting
I might be
time.
able to go to that.
Thursday.
History of land use, New England,
That'd be fun.
different
Yeah,
things.
this-
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, very cool.
What was your last nature walk? I know, because I know I missed it.
Oh,
Remember?
which one was it?
Time flies.
2 days.
Last one I went on was the one at the Dole Conservation Area.
Yeah,
The tree
I
road.
am.
That's okay,
Yeah,
no big deal,
like
it's
it.
just, no big deal. All right,
That was a while ago.
moving on then, under meeting minutes.
Oh, I think it was the city walk.
Oh, that's right.
It was the downtown tree
That's
walk.
right.
Yeah.
Under meeting minutes, anybody, I had a chance to look at the minutes today. Anybody else that was interested, had a chance to look and review and comment? Okay. Any questions or concerns about the minutes as presented and amended on the drive? All right. I'll then entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for August 16th, 2024, as written down and amended and commented on by the members. What did I say?
16.
Oh, I'm sorry, August 16th.
August
My
6th.
fault. Jesus. I'll start again. Entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for August 6th, 2024, as shown on the drive and edited and commented on by the commissioners.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Michael.
Take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
I abstain.
Bob Seacard.
Aye.
Mike Seeke,
Aye.
Jim Chambers,
I abstain.
Seth Quinlan,
Aye.
Rich Gullick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right, that's 5-0 with 2 recusal. Okay.
All right, I'll try to say the correct date on the next one then. I'll entertain a motion then to approve the meeting minutes for September 10th, 2024, as shown on the drive and edited and commented on by the commissioners. Motion, anybody?
A motion,
Thank you, Bob.
make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Seth.
All right. Take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
Abstain.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Mike Seeke,
Aye.
Jim Chambers,
Abstain.
Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
Rich Gullick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right. 5-0, 2 recusals.
All right. The commissioner comments, just very quick before we get to the one shown here. At the last hearing, I had asked Nick to reach out to the neighbors of the CVS facility that were so impacted by the storm last September.
Yes.
And just to see what the right, as I said 2 weeks ago, my secondary concern is restoring the stream bank wall. My primary concern is making those neighbors whole.
Yes.
So, so Nick, you got an update for us?
So I spoke to Mousse DeGene, the neighbor at 210 Lancaster, or Central Street, as well as Stephen Clifford from Greenscape and Nick Hebel from the engineering firm. And Mousse, he was very thankful, very appreciative of the commission, everyone's time in moving forward with this. It's been a big weight off his mind, he said, so it's been a big help. So he's very pleased with how everything's going. He said he had recently heard from them that they're still working on surveys, and which they did confirm when I spoke to them, Stephen and Nick from the CVS side of things. So they are in survey stages right now. They should be wrapping up with that soon, and then a notice of intent will be followed sometime in the month of October. So, which is what they had initially said for us to expect, was an NOI sometime in early to mid-October. So that should be coming through on time. And oh, one more thing, they did say, Stephen from Greenscape and Nick from the engineers, they would be interested in moving forward with filling in that area behind the sandbags. So you might remember they dropped a bunch of very large sandbags in there as a temporary measure to shore up the banking. So whatever repair is going to require that big void to be filled in with fill. So they're ready to move forward with that before they have a final plan for the retaining wall. So they're going to be coming to me again in the next week or so for an emergency certificate, which I'm comfortable with issuing to them. I'll have it ready at the next meeting for you all to ratify. But they'll be seeking an emergency certificate for dropping fill in behind the sandbags as we await a final notice of intent for that retaining wall, and how that exact structure's gonna look. They said it might involve a heavier retaining wall, they might divert the end of the culvert, change the opening to the culvert slightly, but they're still figuring that out. They should be coming in October.
All right.
So that's basically it. Everyone's happy, everyone's doing good.
Good. I know as the commissioner of the, not the commissioner, the chair of the Conservation Commission, probably doesn't do me much good to admit that the interests of the Wetlands Protection Act were my secondary concern.
Yeah,
But I think the situation here was so egregious,
yeah, yeah.
I think that kind of warrants it. Anybody have any questions for Nick? Sound good, everybody?
No, but that's what the authority is.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. I'm glad the neighbors feel that they're being paid attention to finally.
Me too.
Good. So points of discussion. Oh, anybody else have any commissioner comments? Richard?
A couple different things.
Please.
One, we should discuss the MAC conference.
Yes, good one.
And whether people are gonna go, whether there's still money in the budget to attend.
Yeah.
After the, no. There should be.
And it's at Devon's again this year, right?
But it's in Devon's.
Yeah.
And what's the date? Nick, do you remember? And who's interested in going? I found it useful the last time, and it gives you, it was a couple
I
years
thought it was
ago.
great.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That folks can get, is it a Friday?
I'm looking right
It's
now.
usually a Saturday.
Is it a Saturday?
Yeah.
October 19th,
I think
it's a Saturday.
that's Saturday.
8 AM to 3:30 PM
At
on
Devon's.
October 19th in Devon's.
So if anyone wants to attend, Nick, we have enough in the budget to
Yes.
pay, to reimburse for the
Get a
registration?
group discount?
No,
Look them on the
we get
website.
reimbursed.
I know, but if
And,
Oh,
and
I don't think so.
registration is available until the date of the conference.
Okay. All right, so do we have to register ourselves and then get reimbursed? Is that how it works?
I believe
Yes.
so,
Okay.
yes. Yeah,
That's
that's how we
what we
did it
did last
last time, yeah.
Okay.
How much is registration?
I'm looking right now.
Is it that much?
What?
Be that much.
That's
Probably
it.
less.
That's why I shouldn't get a quarter. Pay attention to the latter part of that.
Stop listening after I thought you were wrong.
What, is 6:13 when you came in?
What are you finding out?
6:06.
Click on the register to attend button.
Well, that's what I did, and then it took me to this page, but
Oh.
I'm just not seeing a price
Oh, I see.
anywhere obvious.
You'll find out when you register.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
It's
Okay.
reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I would I highly recommend everybody, if they're able to attend,
And what's
that
Oh,
deadline?
It's
you can register up until the day of.
up until the date of the conference, and for MACC members, which we all are, it's 135.
There we go.
That
Thank you.
sounds-
That sounds better. All right. Super. So if you can go, if you're available and you can afford that.
It includes lunch.
It's a very
Yes, it
good lunch
does.
there, by the
It's
way.
an all-day
MACC has
event.
some good lunches. Yeah.
So are we collectively MACC members?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Did you say it's reimbursable too?
Yes.
Yeah, just get a receipt, give it to Nick.
You register and then just send me the receipt, and I'll
Yes, for
get
you.
you reimbursed.
Provided no more beavers show up?
What? No BS. Yes.
I'm bringing.
But I'll be invited.
You should go if
I
you
see what you
register.
did there, Bob. That was good.
So where are we in our fiscal year?
Fiscal
Because
year
we're spending all
starts
this
in
money.
July.
Start July 1st, there, so.
First.
So we're pretty early in our fiscal year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We're just past the first quarter.
All right. And so you had two things.
Nick, will you do us a favor?
Yes.
And it would be very helpful to get just a summary of one of our meetings, perhaps in this part of it, regarding the open meeting laws, and what we can do and what we can't, what we can talk about with 2 of us versus 3 of us, and so on. That would be a good refresher for us, would
Yes.
be helpful.
I agree.
We had talked about that.
Yeah.
And secondly, I'd like to see a list of what are all the properties that this commission is responsible for, because I don't have a good handle on that.
I mean, like city-owned property, like
City-owned
conservation
properties
land, things like that.
Conservation.
fall under
property.
us, the
Yeah.
conservation land.
Wouldn't hurt
We
to
will
know.
put a list together for us,
Wouldn't hurt to know
reminding
that.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure.
That's it for me.
And I know Nick and I talking earlier about, in terms of the open meeting laws, and also Robert's Rules of Order.
Yes.
A
So
little
more
on
is-
that would help. I'm more
Yeah.
interested in the open meeting law.
Yes, the open meeting law refresher is pressing for sure. So I will, I think that would be better dealt with outside of a meeting, just to save meeting time.
Mhm.
But if we could all agree to a meeting, even if we all can't come to the same time or whatever, like anyone that, I can meet with anyone
How
and give
much
them the
would you
same.
need?
One for a virtual one would work.
10 minutes at the end of a meeting.
I guess that's
that
true.
ends at 7:15 is
I
not
could
gonna
just
hurt
schedule,
anybody.
I could just schedule it for the next meeting.
That's it. Yeah, all right.
The concert series is over, yeah?
Yes.
I think so, yeah. Yep.
All right, cool.
Christmas one will be starting.
The, anything else under commissioner comments? Anything you want to bring up? All right, moving on then. Next meetings. Our next meeting will be, the October meetings have moved back a week. So the next meeting will be October 15th, 2024. The filing deadline is this coming Friday, September 27th, 2024 at noon. And the meeting after that will be October 29th, 2024. The filing deadline will be October 11th, Friday, October 11th, 2024 at noon as well. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second? Is there a second? Thank you, Bob.
I'll take the commission's vote by roll. Nick Bency,
Aye.
I'm Bob Secord,
Aye.
Mike Seeke,
Aye.
Jim Chambers,
Aye.
Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
Rich Gullick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
We agree on something. Awesome.
Meeting adjourned at 7:16.